Well, hello, my next level friend. Welcome to the Artist Next Level podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about 10 essentials that you need to increase your revenue in 2021.
Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Well, hello, my friend. Happy New Year. I am super happy, super excited to be here with you in 2021. We are here. I cannot believe it. Well, actually, I'm super happy that we finished 2020 because it wasn't exactly the year I expected, and I'm sure you didn't either. But we are now in 2021, and I'm very excited. This is now season number 7 of the Artist Next Level podcast. 7 years here coming to you through this podcast, and I want to say thank you so much for your support all these 7 years, for being along here with me, for listening, to inviting me into your home, into your studio, into your commute, or whatever you consume the Artist Next Level podcast. I want to say thank you so much. It really warms my heart when somebody posts in social media an episode or says, hey, thank you for this or that I heard in the Artist Next Level podcast, and I'm just super happy, super excited, and committed to come back here and keep sharing with you in 2021. So season number 7 is here. And my friends, today I want to talk about, the 10 essential things that you can do as an artist to increase your artist revenue in the new year, in 2021. As the world changes, as the dynamics of the art world and the business world and everything else have changed because of the COVID-19 and everything that's happening, the lockdowns and so on. What are the things that you can do as an artist to improve in your revenue, to increase your revenue? Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money, but we really need to make the money in order to create the art that happens in the studio, right? Unless you have another way of sustaining your art career that's from an external thing, and you don't have to worry about sales, well, then that's great for you. But for everybody else who's struggling right now, who's looking at making ends meet and to continue producing the work that they want, well, they need the funding, and this episode will certainly help you out with some of those things. So I want to really quickly get into the 10 essentials to increase your revenue in 2021. Now, the reason I want to share this episode is because even though we went through the pandemic last year, I saw an increase of revenue in my art business, also in my art gallery. Even though everything that happened, sales continue to rise. Online sales, of course, because people are not really walking into the gallery, but online sales are growing. So yes, you can increase your revenue. Yes, you can look at your business in 2021 and say, I want to do better than 2020. Maybe 2020 was not ideal, but 2021 is going to be awesome. And I'm challenging you here right now in this episode to say 2021 is going to be awesome. So here's the first one. That first thing that you need to do in order to increase your revenue of your art in 2021 is, first, you got to start with the mind. And this is something that I've learned many years of now being married to a psychologist. Dr. Ana Gomez is a psychologist and mindset expert. She teaches about these things in her programs, in her books. And I have learned from her, right? Whenever you want to do something new, you want to look ahead, you got to start from the inside. All the strategies in the world will mean absolutely nothing unless you start from your mind. The mindset is such a powerful tool. So first thing you got to do is reset your mind to a new you. You have to reset your mind to a new you. In other words, you have to look at 2021 and say, well, whatever happened in 2020, I cannot change. However, from this point forward, I can change how I think about things, the outlook that I have for the future. And when you start doing that, when you start telling yourself, yes, I can do this, 2021 is going to be better. I'm going to make better decisions in my art career. I'm going to be more proactive. I'm going to do those things. And you start believing it in yourself, right? Then things will begin to change. If you don't start with your mind, you can have all the strategies in the world, but if those strategies, don't have a strong base in your mindset, they won't work. You'll start something and then you change directions, which maybe you have experienced that. If 2020 was a year in which you were not able to focus because now had to readjust your studio and your plans and your travel and your exhibitions, well, all those things distract us, and all those things kind of tend to put our mindset in in a space of always kind of trying to figure out what's going to happen next, and fear sets in. Well, 2021, you have new opportunity as we start resetting your mindset to a new you, to say, I can do this. How I did it, how I'm doing it myself, to be practical. Actually, a couple of days ago, I decided to take a day off, a total day off, one full day, no social media, no phone, not even a watch, nothing on my room that had the time. So I'm just going to work on kind of my goals, looking back at where I've been in the last 3 years, how life has changed, how my art has changed, how my art career has changed, how my art business has changed, see where I am right now and see where I need to go next. What makes sense for me, because what makes sense for you might not make sense for me, and vice versa. So I took the time to reset my mind, to look at the past, to acknowledge where I am today, and to have an outlook for the future. And when I got out of that 1 day retreat, I felt much better. I said, okay, now I have a vision of where I want to go. It's a new me, right? It's a new way of working, and it's a new year, it's a new day. So that helped me out to reset my mind to a new me that will help me in 2021 to improve, to get better, in my studio, in my business, in my life outside of my art, with my family, and so on. So I invite you to do the same. Think about how you can reset your mind in 2021. Now, the second one, right? Second essential to increase your revenue in 2021 is you gotta declutter your life. Maybe right now you have a lot of things in your plate. Maybe you have a lot of worries. Maybe you have a lot of responsibilities, maybe a lot of things that are great and fun and amazing, but they're just adding more to your plate. And here's the thing, my friend, if you have too much on your plate, you cannot grow, because there's no room to grow. It's like when you put a plant on a little vase. Well, pretty quickly, if that plant begins to grow, it's going to get stuck. It cannot grow beyond the size of that container. And same thing can happen to us in our art career. If you want to grow your art business, you gotta make room for it, right? You have to make room. And I really, really sure I can say this, that many of you, perhaps you who are listening right now, you have a pretty cluttered schedule, a pretty cluttered lifestyle, and you need to make room for that. And part of my exercise, as I was going into this 1 day retreat, was to think about, how am I spending my time? What are the things I need to remove? What are the things I need to improve on? So if that's something that you need to take care of, if you want to grow your revenue, you also got to declutter your life so you can make space for the new things that are coming, right? A lot of times we want, the benefits of new things coming our way, but we don't have space for them, right? We don't want to make changes. And let me tell you something, if you want better results, you cannot just expect better results to happen without changing things, by doing what you have always done. That doesn't happen, right? New results come from changing things around. All right, number 3, the third essential to increase your revenue in 2021 is to know your numbers. Now, what does that mean, Sergio? Well, knowing your numbers mean knowing how much money came in and how much money went out in your art career, for your art practice. Knowing, how much does it cost to run your art career? Do you know those numbers? How much does it cost? I bet you that many artists today listening maybe to this podcast have no idea how much it costs. And if they were to look at it, they will probably get depressed. Like, wow, I didn't know running my art career was this expensive. And it is, everything, when you add things up, the pencils, the materials, the paint, the canvas, everything else, the studio, the marketing, everything that, costs, not only financially, but also in terms of effort and hours of work, it's huge. And you gotta know your numbers, right? If you say, well, I want to increase my art business, but you have no idea what number that is, what have you made and what have you spent. Well, it's really an abstract concept when you say, well, I want to grow my art business. I think if I were to ask in a group of 200 artists, hey, raise your hand if you want to grow your business, I'm 100% sure that everybody will raise their hand. But if I were to ask how many of you know the exact numbers, that you want to grow your business, then probably 2 or 3 will raise their hands, because the others will like, I don't know, I just want to make more, but I don't know how much more, because I have no idea how much I made. So, and how much I spent. So you got to know your numbers. There are all kinds of strategies to help you go through your numbers, through analyze your numbers. And you don't have to do it like in super detail. You just got to have an idea so that you can increase your revenue in 2021. That gives you a benchmark to say, okay, this is what I need to cut some, this is what I need to add some, this is what I need to spend more or less, or this thing is gonna give me more or less, etc. You gotta know your numbers. Bottom line, gotta know your numbers. Number 4, essential to increase your revenue in 2021 is you gotta start or continue to discover new income streams. In other words, different ways in which you can make an income as an artist. And there are tons of ways today. And actually, because of the pandemic now, there's even more new ways, because a lot of things have gone online and has opened a lot of opportunities. So selling your art, of course, that's the obvious one. That's one, but that doesn't have to be the only one. There are many other things you can do. There are artists who are doing all kinds of stuff. There are artists who are for example, teaching an online course or a Zoom class, or there are artists who, besides selling their artwork, they're also selling prints, or they're also selling other type of merchandise, or are doing commissions, or are doing calendars. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. Actually, at the beginning of this year, I purchased a calendar from an artist that I love, because he came out with a calendar. It's like, great, I'm not gonna go to Walmart and buy a cheap calendar when I can support an artist too, and have an amazing work of art that I look at every day when I look at my calendar, right? So that's, for that artist, that's another income stream, at the beginning of the year, where he's promoting this calendar and new money is coming in. So discovering new ways, new ideas, looking at what other artists are doing too might give you some good ideas. And only doing the things that you think you are comfortable at doing. You don't, let's say, for example, you don't have to teach a class if you hate teaching, right? You don't have to do that. But you can be open to many other ideas and possibilities that 2021 may bring to you as an income stream. And that's how really also my art career has flourished, in that I have number of income streams that I can count every year, and I continue looking at discovering new ways, also to increase my revenue as an artist, and to look at new ways that more revenue can come in. And at the end of the day, it's not that you are being greedy, it's that with that income you can make more art, you can make improvements. In, for some of you, maybe getting that bigger studio, or getting better supplies, or that light kit that you always wanted, or that camera that you really need in order to take better pictures of your art, right? That's how we artists use the income that we receive, right? We put it back into our art career, so that we can continue making and producing and documenting and everything else that needs to be done as an artist. So definitely something you want to check out, is to continue being in the pursuit of income streams throughout the year. It was really great actually to see many artists at the end of the year doing all kinds of things that they use to create income at the end of the year. I saw some artists doing scarves, and I saw the artists doing different things. I actually run a small works art sales challenge, and maybe you were part of it. We had tons of artists from around the world who did the challenge, and it was really great, to see many artists, creating a small series of works and selling it online, and many of them kind of doing total sell out of all their artwork, and it was really great. They're bringing new collectors into their list, and it was really exciting. So again, that became an income stream for many artists, which they didn't have before, and now they will continue pursuing those connections, those contacts, so that again it can continue bringing revenue over time. Number 5, the number 5 thing you want to think about as you think about increasing your art revenue in the new year is position yourself strategically to be seen and be remembered. In other words, position yourself every day, every week, in social media, in through your email, to however you show up to people in the world and even in person, strategically, so that people see your art and remember you. Right? This is about how you document your art. It's about how you present yourself. It's about what do you show of yourself and what you choose not to show of yourself. Is your artwork always at the forefront, right? So if I find you in any social media, I will know right away that you're an artist and what kind of art you make. Because the reality is that if somebody's confused, they will just ignore you and move on, right? You are one of thousands of artists in the world. So, how are you positioning yourself, as you put yourself out there, so that people can see you and remember you, can recognize the thing that you're doing. One of the biggest or best compliments I can get as an artist is when somebody sends me a message that says, "Hey, Sergio, I saw a post and I recognize that it was a work of art from you," without even reading the caption or who it came from. So that's a great compliment, right? I mean, somebody saw me, has seen me enough, the way I'm positioning myself, that even without reading my name, they can identify that post to me. And that takes work, that takes a strategy, that takes knowing how to do it, right? But it's super important. So in 2021, that's going to also help you increase your revenue, because when they recognize you, when they see you, when they remember you, you come to mind when that person wants to buy art for their wall, for their office, for their home. Because here's the thing, in 2021, people are still buying art. This idea that everybody's on recession is wrong. Yes, big percentage of the world is on big recession, but there are people who are actually still making money, who are actually maybe even making more money now than they did before, because they're not going to travel. Also, they're spending less, and now they're improving their home. They're improving their home office, which is a new thing, right? It's funny. Like the other day, a friend of mine was looking for a desk, and he had to wait like 5 weeks for the desk to arrive, because the furniture store said, we have such a huge backlog of orders, because everybody's putting their offices at home. So everybody's buying desks, at least this particular desk that he was looking for. So, it's crazy, right? People are upgrading. And one of the things that you do when you upgrade a room or a home or an office is what are you going to put on the wall? So people are buying art and proactively going into social media, into the web, to find the art, that they love. So if you have been showing up regularly to your social and you've been putting yourself out there strategically, well, when they think about, I want something for my wall, they might think, oh, Sergio, right? I follow this artist named Sergio and I love his work. So exactly the same thing will happen with you. As an example, if you continue to do this strategically, position yourself out there. So that's number 5. So we're halfway, my friend. Let's keep moving on. Number 6, the 6 essential that you need to do in 2021 to increase your revenue is to create a winner marketing calendar. One of the big successes of the Small Works Art Sales Challenge is that I teach the artists that I work with, in the challenge, on how to do a successful marketing calendar. It's not just making posts that says this is for sale. That's not how it works. Is how to show up, how to grab the attention, how to deliver, the offer or the opportunity for people to buy, and then how to follow up. And that's creating a marketing calendar that works. So over the years, I've been working on my marketing calendar. I've been tweaking it. I've been, adjusting it so where now it works really, really well. And it works for everything, not just for my art. If I want to sell something, a course or something, I use the marketing calendar and it works really great. So, one of the essentials for 2021 for you is to figure out, look at your overall calendar of the year and think about, when am I pushing and when am I pulling, right? When am I promoting and when I'm just enjoying being an artist and I don't have to promote anything. A lot of artists don't sell because they don't know how to market their art in their calendar. They just think that it's just going to happen by just keep sharing your art. One of the big lessons, artists had in the challenge this year is like, well, Sergio, I didn't know, I had an audience ready to buy, and because I never give them an opportunity. And that's what a winner marketing calendar will do for you. And I talk a lot about marketing in all my content that I create, not only here in the podcast, but you can look it back in some episodes. Breakfast with Sergio show, is full of marketing ideas you can try and test. There are over 300 episodes now of Breakfast with Sergio on YouTube, and you can check those out. But you really gotta work out your calendar and your strategies of marketing so that you can have better revenue in 2021. And by the way, you don't have to be salesy. You don't have to be always in promo mode. No, I actually teach and preach about this idea of push and pull. There are times to push in which you're selling, and there are times in which you are just enjoying being an artist. You're not selling anything. You're just enjoying sharing for the pleasure of sharing. And that is really relieving that you don't have to feel like you always are in promo mode. All right, next one, number 7. The 7 essential that you need to sell more art in 2021 is that sales is the result of doing things right. In other words, if you want to increase your sales, you gotta do more things right more often. Because when you do more things right more often, the end result is sales. A lot of times, a typical goal from an artist in the new year is say, okay, I want to do more sales this year. So sales becomes the forefront, the beginning of the sentence, what I actually think is the end of the sentence. In other words, because I did this, and this, it resulted in a sale. See, that's how you do it, right? In other words, I need to do X, Y, and Z so that the end result is producing a sale, versus putting it at the beginning, sale, and figuring out, okay, how in the world is that going to happen, right? You gotta do things right. Things right means, the kind of like what I think always has the 4 pillars of selling art, online or in person, as an artist, as a gallery. Is first, you gotta have great art, right? Great, and by great I mean not only great how it's done in the studio, but also great documentation, great photographs, great way in which you're presenting it to the public, right? So you gotta have great art. Once you have great art, then you gotta start growing an audience. You may have the most beautiful, amazing art in the world, but if nobody's watching, looking at it, if you don't have nobody to show it to, then you will never be able to sell it, right? The key is you gotta have people to see it. So that's the second pillar of selling art, is you gotta have an audience. Once you have that audience, that's not enough. You also need to grab their attention. The reality is that you can build an audience of 100,000 people, but if they're not paying attention, if they are distracted, they have no idea, no clue what you're doing, then you will not, or you will have a hard time to sell art. Yeah, maybe you'll sell some because their audience is large, but not as much as you could possibly do because you don't know how to grab their attention. And by grabbing attention, I don't mean you gotta do crazy things or you gotta do silly dances or stuff like that. No, there are 100 different ways of grabbing somebody's attention. And then the last piece on that sales pillar is you need to know how to present them an offer or an opportunity to buy. A lot of times, and that's kind of what I teach in the Small World Success Challenge that we just did in December, is that we were very effective as to present an offer that the audience wanted to be part of, right? So that's the last piece of the puzzle, right? Creating an offer, an opportunity for people to participate in what you're doing in the world, aka sales, right? Buying your art. So that's something that you definitely want to work on in the new year, on those 4 areas: your art, right? Your audience, the attention of that audience, and then the offer or the opportunity that you want to give them to purchase your art. And then the more as you do that in combination with your marketing calendar, amazing things begin to happen, because now you'll see how by doing these things right equals more sales of your art, and more opportunities, not only sales but also great opportunities, can come your way by doing things right. So that's number 7, super important. Number 8 is, of course, finding more art collectors, right? Finding more art collectors and being always on the lookout for art collectors. And more importantly, which is the question that I always ask artists when they say, Sergio, how do I find more art collectors? Okay, so what are you doing yourself so that art collectors can find you? That is always the best question, because our collectors are always looking. And that's the beauty of it. The problem, of course, is that we don't know who they are, because art collectors don't walk around with a label that says, hello, I'm an art collector. An art collector could be anyone. Could be a doctor, could be a lawyer, could be your next door neighbor, could be anyone, could be of any age, could be male or female. Collectors come in all shapes and sizes and with all kinds of interests. Some collectors love beautiful, colorful art. Some collectors like and love dark themes and dark art. It comes in a way. Some collectors, buy sculpture. Some love painting, and others like an eclectic taste of different things. So, but what we can control, we cannot control that, but what we can control is how we show up so that our collectors can find us. And that's, there's many things you can do to that, from having a well-designed website that is easy to find, from how you're putting yourself in your social media, and making sure that you have a good profile on your social, so really quickly people know, who you are and what is it that you do. They don't have to second guess. That's exactly what this is all about. That's how you go and find new art collectors in 2021. Because and more than ever, here's a cool thing, in more than ever in 2021 versus other years, is that after the pandemic, art collectors are spending a ton of time on social media and on the web looking for artists, right? Something that, because right now they cannot go to art fairs or the big shows because they are closed, or they're not having big openings, but they're very active in social media. And I've talked to collectors, I have interviewed other collectors too, who they say, hey, in this pandemic, we are home, but we're looking, we're even looking more than before because now we got more time and everybody's online. So, that's definitely a big essential as you look at 2021. All right, let's go to the 9th essential to increase your revenue in 2021. And this is super important, and it's on also how to wow your art collectors so that they continue coming back. In other words, we spend so much time and effort trying to find new buyers. How about the ones that you already have? How can we make them feel special? What are the things that we can do, to keep bringing them back, right? To continue that relationship, to keep them closer and closer to what we are doing as an artist, right? A lot of times, you are more likely to buy to somebody who already purchased from you in the past than somebody who has never, right? So, in this one, it's all about the wow effect, right? The wow factor is, when you go back and you look at a collector that you already had and you make that contact again, looking at your list of people that has purchased from you, and they may be in your mailing list, and they get the email that everybody gets, when you do an update or to your email newsletter. But what else can you do? Are there certain things that are more personalized that you can do to grab their attention, right? It takes a little longer, but there are key people there that maybe you really want to grab their attention in 2021. They may or may not even reading your email newsletters. So don't assume because they get the newsletter and they may be following your social media, they are paying attention to what you are doing. There's huge power in this, in following up. Actually, this week in my Our Next Level community, one artist posted about how she followed my advice and follow up with a collector who had show interest in one work, but that's it. Well, the reality is that people get busy. They might say that they like something and then they forget about it. So you can go back and revisit a conversation, and that may lead to a sale. And actually, that was the case for this particular artist who just followed up, and boom, the sale happened. Right? How cool was that? And my friend, the last one, the 10 essential to increase your revenue in 2021, which is also super, super important, is to use social media to grow your artist brand. Really working with your artist brand and position it in a great place, so that it can continue grow. Using social media to move forward, right? To continue sharing the amazing work that you do, continue creating an audience, and at the same time, without that having to take over your life. Because unfortunately, for many artists, social media has become like this big weight and this big, worry and this big thing that it's like, oh, geez, I have to do it, but I don't want to do it, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. However, there are things you can do. There are strategies, there are ways you can do that can help you ease out, the pain of having to manage your social media. Some artists love it, right? Some artists love it, but others don't. And some others are better than others. But we can all improve. We can all get better at it. We can always use it in ways that's going to help you more. What are the things that you can do on the different social media platforms that give you the most results and that can help you out to get in front of the right people, particularly this time in which we are in isolation, where things are slowly beginning to opening, but it's going to take a while. It's not going to be right away, before people are getting out and doing things, and the big shows and the big art fairs. Everybody's expecting those to start coming back in 2021, and I hope so too. I'm really expecting that to happen, but it's going to be a slow transition. The crowds that we were used to see prior to to the pandemic are not going to be there in 2021 right away. So we hope that as the world changes and progresses, things will begin to come back to more in-person events. But in the meantime, social media is your ally, is your friend, and you gotta use it to the best of your abilities and using the right strategies so that you can get in front of more and more of your audience. And my friend, these were the 10 essentials to increase your revenue in 2021. And here's the very cool thing, is that each one of these 10 represents 1 week in my upcoming Art Business Grow Challenge, which starts on January 11th. It's a 10-week challenge where every week I'm going to hit one of these specific topics. So that's why I picked 10 weeks, because that's why I picked these 10 essentials. Every week I'm going to release a video with the instructions for that particular week, of the challenge, and on each of these topics, one per week. And then we're going to talk about these inside of a Facebook group, exchange ideas with other artists, strategies and so on. How does this work for me or for that or for this type of art, or where I am in the world and things like that. And then every Tuesday during the challenge as well, every Tuesday we're going to have live studio visits for artists who would like to request a studio visit through Zoom. We do it in a group setting. We do that every Tuesday. It's pretty awesome. And then every Thursday, I'm going to do live Q&A sessions where, I'll answer any question that you may have pertaining to that topic or any topic related to your art career. And it doesn't matter if you can attend in person or not, because you can pre-post your question, and then I will answer that question, record it in video, and post it back in the group. So even if you have a day job and cannot attend, or you are in the other side of the world in Australia and it's just the worst time for you to watch my video live, no biggie, because you can go back and watch it anytime, because it all gets recorded. And it is pretty awesome. And that is the Art Business Growth Challenge, where the goal for that is to help you, grow, increase your sales, your revenue, your income streams in 2021, to help you get more focus, get much better, win in marketing, sell more art, and increase your revenue. That's the whole goal of the challenge. And we do that together, with a community of artists from around the world. So if you want to participate, if you want to be part of that, maybe you missed the Small Words Challenge and you're like, geez, I really wanted to be part of it, but I missed it. I was too busy, the holidays and so on. You definitely don't want to miss this one, because it's going to totally change, your year, the way you approach 2021. And as we work together, I will be helping you along the way with my personal advice, as I mentioned, through the Facebook group, and through the live Q&A sessions. So if you want to join, my friend, if you want to get all the details on how to get to this challenge, all you got to do is go to www.theartistnextlevel.com/join. Super easy. theartistnextlevel.com/join. I'm going to also put the link in the description of this podcast. So if you're driving right now, why not? Don't worry, don't stop to write it down. Just when you get home or to your studio, go to the description of this podcast, whatever you may be listening at, and there should be a link right there, either just copy the link, and you should be able to put it on the browser. It will take you to the page where you can read all the details, how to register for this challenge that happens inside the Our Next Level Academy. So this is a challenge from my coaching program inside the Our Next Level Academy, which is a membership site. So check that out. You can be part of this challenge. It's going to be super awesome, super cool. I hope to see you there. 10 weeks of amazing sharing, amazing learning, amazing growing as an artist, and more importantly, amazing way of building your art business for 2021. So more than anything, I wish you, my friend, that this year is much better than the last one. I guess it's kind of hard to top off a pandemic, right? So we kind of know that we are in it now, and we can know how the world has changed. So it's time to adjust, adapt, and move forward, and making those changes so that really good things happen for you in the new year. So I hope to see you there. Again, www.theartistnextlevel.com/join. That's where I'll be in the next 10 weeks. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, it starts January 11th. Or maybe I said it, I don't remember. But it starts January 11th, goes all the way to March 15th. And it's going to be awesome. If you have a week off or you're going to be gone for something, no biggie. Everything gets recorded. Every session, every week gets recorded, so you can access it at any time during that period. So January 11th to March 15th. Hope to see you there. Don't miss it. If you have any questions, just message me through social media. Find me there, and I'll be happy to help you out. Have a great day, my friend, and I will see you in the next episode of the Artist Next Level podcast. Goodbye.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.